Lost a lot of money. It's always something, you know. That is not why. Well, yeah, I mean, they must be too bad. But that's all. You have to see that. That's why.
For at least like. It's fun. The weather was coming from me. He's not, it's only friend. He's not. Yeah.
It doesn't mean you guys, I don't know why I was so big. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order, please. If you'd stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Missy, you want to do roll call?
Libby. Here. Brian.
Here.
Tanya.
Here.
John.
Here.
Fritz.
We have a quorum. We need a motion to approve the agenda. There's no changes, is there, Joe?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And looking for a motion to approve the February 2nd meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 2nd, 2026.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, first up, we have old business, council to consider the second reading of ordinance 2026-2A, amending and restating the town's parking regulations for streets and areas in town. Do we want to do these together or?
You can, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory at this point.
Okay,
Again, they're both just updates to the stop sign ordinances and the no parking ordinances for preferential streets being stop signs. Unless you've got any amendments or changes you want to see.
I don't think so.
What you have there before you this evening is the same thing that we had on the first reading. First reading, I had all the changes marked up in red.
Yes.
These are just cleaned up versions.
Okay. Yes, if nobody has anything to add, we look for a motion. We can do them together, Ryan, if you want.
I'll make a motion to approve second reading of ordinance number 2026-2A, amending and restating the town's parking regulations for certain streets and areas in town, and ordinance number 2026-2B, amending and restating the preferential street schedule stop signs.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And this will require by signature here. Okay, next up, we have new business. Council will hear annual financial report for 2025 presented by Beth Marsh. Beth. Okay.
So you got your annual financial report. It's 37 pages. Promise we won't go through every single line on it. So pages 2 through 4 is your fund report, which basically shows every fund that we have, and it shows your beginning cash balance in each of those funds, all the receipts that we took in for the year, and then all the disbursements, giving us then our ending cash balance and fund balance for each one of those funds. So you can see they're broken up by the general, MVH, local, road and street, and all of those. And that's for the first 3 pages. And it's also got like the water, all the utilities on there as well. And then pages 5 through 12 are your detailed receipts. So all of the receipts that are in the first one, it goes by every fund, and then it gives you all the different sources of where we receive the receipts. So like the property taxes, your lit dollars, all the different taxes that we receive, any miscellaneous fees and anything that we have, and it's broken down again by each fund. And that's pages 13 through 24. And then on page 25 through 27, all that is, again, this is just a listing of all your various funds that are, it's also the same report as on the first, they're the same funds, but they just give you the total listing of your funds. So you have those. And then on page 28, that's your debt schedule. So it has every piece of debt that we have, it's showing your beginning principal balance. Anything that we have that's new, which we added the water, for the the wastewater for the 9.5 million, and then our reductions, which were the principal payments, giving us the ending balance as of 12/31/25. And then we have the next year, we have the payments that we are to make next year that are approved, are already in the budget and everything. And then on page 29 is your deficit fund balance. So ideally, normally you don't want deficit funds, but there's times when you need them. And the reason on this one is you've got your NDOT. So that is a reimbursable grant. So we have to spend the money and then we ask for it. So it'll be a receivable, which we'll get to in a minute. And then the same way with the promotional fund, we had $179.30 on that. And again, that's a receivable that needs to be paid in 26. And then the payroll, which normally doesn't have it, but this year, the way the year fell, payroll was like on 1/2. Well, they always take your taxes out 2 days prior. So it flew into this year. So that's a receivable that we had to put on there as well. So the total for the deficits was 133,811. And then on page 30 are your lease payments, which we have the Bobcat. And then we have the town hall improvements, which is the RDA, which we had that meeting just prior to this and we approved their AFR. And then 31 is your transfers. That's just your funds transferred in and out between the funds. And then page 32 are your grants that we had. And again, where we had that deficit fund, this is part of that. So you had the Mount Vernon Trails is basically the different phases on that. And we just have to list that. And so when they come into audit, they always look at this. And so that's why they have to have that since it relates. And then on page 33 and 34 and 35 is your fixed assets. which basically it's all the beginning balances, any additions that we had throughout the year, and then any deletions, meaning that was disposals. And then we also have the accumulated depreciation on each of those assets. And then the last page, I guess it's almost the last page. On page 36, it has accounts payable, which are the equivalent of our encumbrances, things that weren't spent. Well, we didn't have any of those. We were able to get all the bills paid at the end of the year. So we didn't have anything that carried over or needed to be carried over. And then your accounts receivable, we had 144,220 in the government activities. Stormwater, we had 13,723. Wastewater, 53,513, and then water, we had 7,036. So all of the utilities, those are the receivables for the bills that we have. And then the receivables that we talked about for the NDOT, we had the 103,000 for the trails reimbursement. We had the promotional account that we talked about, and then the taxes. So that was the ones that I just mentioned that were the deficit fund balance is what those were. And then the very last page is your pensions that you participate in, and you participate in your PERF, which is the Public Employment Retirement Fund, and then also the PERF 77, which is the firefighter pension fund. And that summarizes the year in 37 pages.
A lot.
We didn't have any transfers, so we don't have to prove any transfers or anything in this. So we're good as far as transfer between categories. So we didn't have any of that either. Does anyone have any questions?
Question, anybody? You need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual financial report for 2025.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Beth. Okay. Next up, we have the annual Vernon Township Fire Department report for 2025, presented by Chief and Flory May. Town Trustee Flory May and Chief Mark Elder.
Thank you. I'm going to go first, and mine will also be brief, despite the many pages sitting in front of you. First of all, there is the Get to Know You Township Trustee, just the highlights page of what Township Trustees do, as many people are not familiar with Township Trustees. Poor relief and emergency assistance, fire protection, and cemetery maintenance preservation are the three big that most of us should be aware of. And thank you so much, Andy. On our year in review piece, which is the blue pamphlet that you've gotten in front of you, if we want to go to the population growth, which is after the letter, I am just going to hit real quick highlights here. What we did was, if you want to call it the USA Today version of graphs that show what has happened over the last 5 to 6 years. As we look at our population growth in McCordsville, Fortville, and the unincorporated area, we're looking at population growth from basically 15,006 up to 20,154. So we're closing in on probably more than 5,000 people. Obviously, we don't have census numbers yet. And we suspect that 20,154 is low. But this gives us a very conservative look at least 29.1% total growth in the area. As we go to the next slide and we look at fire and emergency medical services, Chief is really going to dig into the details of this, but want you to look at the growth from 2020 to 2025 in terms of our number of runs. When I started in 2019, we were at about 900 runs and looking at just shy of 2,000 runs. And the chief will talk about the major milestones that we've hit on that front. The big focus I want to focus on is the next slide, which is the township assistance. And to really give you a picture of the graph that's laid out here and what percentage is in Fortville. You look at the breakdown in terms of the number of people whom we have assisted. So 197 families who have been assisted, and this year, $92,463. I think most of you probably know the process people go through to assist help when they're in dire straits. They come to our website and they pull up the application, and the steps are laid out on the website, or they can come to our front door. There is a plastic box which they can take an application from. The application is not easy to do. The guidelines that the state gives us are very specific. It is a booklet that is much bigger than this that they have to fill out. And when we do agree to assist based on those guidelines, we are providing funds to either the rental company or to the mortgage company or to whoever the vendor is, the utility company. The check is going to them. It does not go to the person who is being assisted. Most of the people who come to us need additional help with other things. There's reasons that they got to the point where they're at. And our goal is to assist them with getting on a path for a more positive journey going forward. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Sometimes it is a journey in itself of multiple visits and working with multiple other organizations. We'll not get into all of that tonight. Yes, you can thank me later. But here in Fortville, we helped with 32 rents, 4 mortgages, 32 utility assistance, 1 cremation, and 1 temporary housing over this past year. Over time, the number of requests from Fortville and McCordsville have become almost equal to each other, and McCordsville is now starting to surpass the requests from Fortville as you see more apartments and more senior living come into place. And those are the 2 key factors that seem to really impact the amount of township assistance that we give. We fill out each year for the state a TA7, which is part of the annual financial report. As Beth did for you, we have to do also, but we also have the TA7 that we submit. I'm not going to go through all the rest of the book. Most of you have probably been over to see our new training room and the historic preservation that has happened there with the volunteer fire items. You're probably well aware of the gardens of Vernon Township. We are reaching out this year on the farmers market and forming a task force to hopefully move the farmers market over to Vernon Township, and that meeting will happen next week. If anyone is interested, you are invited to come. And then I think most of you know about our community partnerships with Farm, the food pantry, and Chief Bratton and Chief Elder are both big supporters in terms of helping us move that partnership forward. They do an extraordinarily good job there, and what an incredible group of volunteers. There are lots of other programs that we work on. If anyone has questions on those, please let us know. We're happy to assist with that. And I will now turn it over to the chief for the really interesting part of the program.
Thanks, Flory. This is really nice. This is really a nice piece. Very nice.
Good evening. I'm Mark Elder, Fire Chief of Vernon Township. We don't have our formal report like that done yet. We just got the data all put together for the PowerPoint. The United States Fire Administration last year went to a new data reporting system. So it's kind of taken our vendor. They've tweaked some of the reports, so we're struggling to get the data out. We finally got it out. We are able to get the big numbers for you to present to you. No surprise, it has been a year of growth. And what I've done is included the last 6 years worth of data that we've been collecting to show how we have increased. In 2020, we responded to 1,319 calls. At the end of 2025, we responded to 1,995 calls. And you can see the breakdown. This is the last year you'll see this category breakdown because, again, as I stated, the U.S. Fire Administration has changed and we're still learning all the new categories. So, but as you can tell, the EMS is our biggest, and there's a slide coming up, is our biggest run category that we do respond to. Using the population numbers that trustee talked about, and if you look at the slide starting to the left or right, we've got the current year. The bar chart shows the population. The line chart shows the runs per capita. So starting in 2020, it was about 0.08 per person calls for service. And in 2021, it spiked to just over 0.1 to where, and then it leveled out, but it stayed consistent from 2022, including last year, to 0.09. So every time our population grows by a person, you can take that number times 0.09, and that's how many more runs we're going to respond to per year. And again, that has shown consistency for the last 4 years. So when and this applies to all Vernon Township, not just Fortville, not just McCordsville. So as we hear about all the new developments coming in, we can start using this number to plan that, hey, we're going to have this many more calls for service, and use that as a planning tool when we're going to need another station, when we're going to need another ambulance, another engine, things like that. So, and we will start using this data annually to adjust it. Hopefully it stays at this and doesn't get any higher. Any questions on any of these slides as I go through, please feel free to stop and ask. If you want to go to the next slide, it just shows a pie chart showing, again, the slide before, the EMS call obviously is the largest percentage of what we respond to, with the other ones making up. If you want to go to the next slide. Just an incident summary. Our calls for service for 2025 compared to 2024, the total number of responses went up by 10.5%. Our EMS incidents themselves went up by 14.6%. And the number of crashes that we respond to that are crashes with injuries, this doesn't include the crashes that the police department go to with no injuries, but just the ones that we go to, increased by 19.1%. Something that we have the last couple of years that has really been challenging to us, and thankfully we got the growth appeal. We're able to hire 6 more people to put the dedicated crew on our second medic. The way we have been staffing that is with what we call jump company, where it's the same crew that has been covering the engine here in the Fortville station. And if they're available, not out on another call, and the second call comes in, they'll take the ambulance. That's worked pretty well until the last year or so. So what this chart shows is that when we're out on one call, we get a second call. In 2024, that happened 330 times. In 2025, that went up to 367 calls. That's just 2 calls. There's 44 times it happened 3 times. There's 6 times that it happened 4, and there was one time in 2025 we were on 4 calls and got a 5th call. So when there was times I was responding from home on days off to pick up the ambulance to meet the crews that were responding from another call that they were finished up. So it was getting to be a struggle, because sometimes the mutual aid ambulance or the company that was responding it was quicker for me to go pick it up, or one of our other command staff officers to go pick it up, than it was to have that mutual aid company. So hopefully with the addition of the staffing that we are putting in place over the next couple of weeks, we will be able to restart. We're not going to reduce the simultaneous calls. They're going to continue to go up. We're just going to be able to handle them ourselves without having to, the mutual aid works well, but it's not to be a replacement for, it's to help out when needed. And I feel like we've been a drain on some of our other agencies around us because we keep having to bring them in because of these number of simultaneous calls. But we also respond to their assistance as well. Because EMS is such a big component of what we do, I did include a chart of what our 10 most common types of injuries and illnesses are, just for your review. General illnesses is that there's no specific complaint that we respond on. It's just I don't feel well. Injuries being the second leading. No complaints or injuries noted when we get there. We don't know why they called 911 sometimes. It does happen. Difficulty breathing, chest pains, abdominal pains, all the way down to, a seizure disorder. Where are the runs occurring at? You guys are part of, you're number 3, but obviously the western third of Vernon Township, McCordsville, the northwest and southwest, that blue and the yellow area is our top 2. But north central, that brown area there in the middle on top, which is basically all of the town of Fortville, is our third most common, and not by much. You were 4 runs less than southwest, but northwest McCordsville obviously has really spiked in the last few years. 562 runs and just in that quadrant, or call it a quadrant, but that reporting area. And then 496 in the southwest and 492 in the Fortville area. And then, as I said, we did respond. We do also provide mutual aid, so it's not always us bringing people in. We did respond 128 times to areas outside of our agency or of Vernon Township to provide assistance to them. I am happy to report that our response times, which includes turnout, and what does that mean? It's from the time our tones drop to the time the first truck marks en route, is a minute and 16 seconds. And when you figure that they're going out from wherever they're at, getting turnout gear on, that is a good time. Travel time, it went down in 2025 from 2024 by 11 seconds. Probably cleaned up some of the road construction and things that went on that helped out quite a bit with that. I'm happy to say that the total response time, average response time from the time that our tones drop or we get dispatched on the call by Hancock County 911 to the first unit on the scene is 6 minutes and 28 seconds. And this chart shows where are we responding to. Still, by far, over 70% of where we're responding is residential areas. I bring this up is because there's been such a big, I'm a property owner. I want my property taxes to be as little as possible, but there is this big thing about we want less property taxes. But I need to point out that our calls for service, the biggest area that we respond to is residential properties. So that's where our calls for service are at. That's where our demand for service is at. It's residential properties. So if we're going to eliminate property taxes or reduce them, we've got to find out a way. Hopefully our state legislatures are listening. We've got to find out a way to replace those, because if they keep cutting our finances, we're not going to we can't do more with less in public safety. That's not possible. I always like to look for consistency in our runs, and the one thing that's consistent is that there is no consistency when it comes to our run numbers by month. In 2024, July and September were our busiest months, and December was our slowest. I'm sorry, in 23 and 24, and then in 25, it was one of our busiest months. So again, no rhyme or reason. Really don't know. The weather really didn't pay too much of a factor, but that's the run data for the months. And then if you go to the next one, the days of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty close. And the weekends do slow down just a little bit. That did stay fairly consistent from the previous year. And then our hours by hours a day. Sometimes I look at ways to maybe do some alternative staffing if we're able to hire part-time people. Our runs they're increasing overnight, but they are still the lower overnight than what they are during the day. We start to peak around 7 o'clock in the morning, and we stay pretty consistent to about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And then we don't stop doing runs overnight. And like I said, I've noticed over the last year or two, we're getting more and more calls overnight. So, any questions on that? The rest of the report just shows what we do with training. Training makes up a big component of when we get evaluated by the insurance service office, training hours. And this just shows the different categories and how many hours we had for training. We did go up in training hours last year by 3 hours, but when you look at the last 2 years compared to 23 and 22, we're doing about 2,000 more hours training per year. So. And then our community risk reduction program. We did do fewer inspections last year, but I believe that's because one of our our volunteer inspectors that comes in and helps us, he was off for a while due to some personal reasons. So with that being the case, we only went down 50 some inspections. I'm not unhappy with that. We do get all of our high hazard occupancies, which include our schools, things of that nature. They automatically get inspected once per year, if not twice. So, and we had a lot of accomplishments last year, but the two I really want to highlight. Number one, we did implement a drone program that we will use for PR events, for building, fires when we have them. I know that Noah right now is the program coordinator, Noah Janert. He has responded with both police and fire agencies throughout the county to assist with missing persons, with other incidents. But then the big thing is our whole blood program. This has only been implemented since September of last year. And when EMS Chief Culberson came to me and said, it's only going to probably be 4 or 5 times a year we're going to do this. We're going to, administer this. I said, okay, let's move forward with it. We'll have an impact. I got to tell you, since it's been implemented to the end of, actually, I think it was the end of January, we've administered it to 7 different patients. So, and it's had a major impact. The statistics are there on the flyer, but, it's one of the most proudest things I think we've done since, because to watch the difference, I can't get into the HIPAA stuff, but to tell you the difference that it does make when they're crashing, and they are crashing, and they get that blood and they immediately start to turn around. It's amazing to watch. So, any questions? We would like to thank you for all your support, as always. I know there are some new members of the council. I'd like to reach out and invite any of you at any time to come and tour the facilities, fire department, answer any of your questions, take you around to look at both stations, what we have to offer at any time. Yeah. Vernon Township Fire Department is a fire territory. It's consisted of the town of Fortville, the town of McCordsville, and the unincorporated area of Vernon Township, or the Vernon Township Board. Consists the town council president from both towns, as well as the trustees, sit on the fire territory that make up the fire territory board. We will be back here in a few months to present our budget. So we present the budget to the territory board, and then the towns, and then the township board for final approval.
We get our new ladder truck this year, don't we?
We do. It's on order. I don't know, and town manager was asking me when it's supposed to be delivered. Originally, we were told July, August timeframe. They reached out and said, if we get it done in time, can we display it in April at the conference? I was like, yeah, sure. But I don't know. We'll see. So I would say, anytime between April and July, we should be getting the new ladder truck.
Probably won't know until it's ready to pick up, right?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those. No.
Did they deliver it?
Communicated, yeah, they do deliver.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They deliver it. They will be here. They will go through 3 or 4 days from training with everybody. So it'll be the first ladder truck in Vernon Township. So it's pretty big.
Big deal.
Milestone. Big deal.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
We thank you. Any questions for Mark or anything for the floor?
I
Thank
want to
you.
say thank you for Chief Culbertson. She helped us get some AEDs at you guys' cost, which I don't know is cheaper than our cost, but they like you guys better. I understand. But those should be coming in, and she got her updated pads this year for us too. So tell her thank you when you see her. I haven't had a chance to see her.
I will. And that's what's great. We do have a great partnership with both of our police departments in the towns and stuff. So I think we'll come along.
That says a lot about you guys too, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have the update on the Fortville Police Department Annual Performance Evaluation and Compensation presented by the Police Commission with Nick Clarkson.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Nick Clarkson. I'm speaking on behalf of the Fortville Police Commission and Merit Board. I will be covering a few topics that will be detailed on this slideshow. I will begin by explaining our newly developed job performance evaluation for our police chief. Next, I will compare our police chief's salary to surrounding and similar towns. After that, I will describe our police chief's handling of the taxpayers' money through his practice of fiscal responsibility. Finally, I will summarize this presentation by making the Police Commission's recommendation to the Town Council. Mr. Williams is presenting behind me, and I'm just going to go through these one line item at a time. The Police Commission Board consists of 5 members from the town. Together, we have developed and implemented a structured job performance evaluation for the police chief to ensure a professional, objective, and merit-based process for determining annual salary adjustments. The evaluation is divided into 5 sections: financial management and stewardship, personnel management and leadership, operations and public safety strategy, community relations and interagency relationships, and strategic goals that are specific to the current year. The process utilizes a proficiency scale from 1 to 3, 3 being the highest. To ensure total fairness, the 5 police commissioners aggregate their individual scores to reach a final consensus. This strategic initiative provides the transparency and accountability required by both this council and our residents. After reviewing the Fortville Police Department's annual data, our police commission scored Chief Bratton at 47 out of a possible 48 points, earning him a distinguished rating for the 2025 year. Beyond internal accountability, this rubric addresses a critical recruitment and retention issue. This is a bar graph displaying the annual salaries of the police chiefs of Whitestown, Pendleton, McCordsville, Greenfield, New Powell, and at the bottom in red, Fortville. Currently, our police chief's salary is ranked last among all chiefs in Hancock County and also falls behind the pay rate in Pendleton. For another point of comparison, we also considered the average salary range for a police chief in Indiana. That range was between $127,000 and $143,000. To maintain a high-functioning department and to attract top candidates, it is essential that our leadership compensation remains competitive with our surrounding peers. All right, thanks, Mr. Williams. You can go ahead. It is also important to highlight the chief's exceptional track record of frugality and stewardship of public funds. Over the past 5 years, the chief has saved a total of $322,290 from the police budget. This is through the persistent pursuit of grant money, shopping around for deals, and maintaining his department's equipment. As you can see on this chart, we did have one rough year in red in 2023, and there were several vehicular accidents that year. So that is an anomaly. But, you know, when you have a lot of accidents, that does come out of the budget and to replace vehicles. So that was a big expenditure that was unforeseen, but the total savings, as it says there, is included. The 2023 deficit is included in that budget, or that total savings over the the chief's tenure with our department. Next slide, please, Mr. Williams. It is important for the town council and the public to understand that these savings do not simply sit in the police fund. They are returned to the town's general fund. This means these tax dollars are reallocated to benefit all citizens of Fortville, supporting townwide infrastructure and services. When our public officials are conscientious and responsible with taxpayer money, everyone benefits. So just a simple diagram showing how that savings does go into the general fund and can be reallocated as the town sees fit and deems necessary. So sidewalks or whatever the need might be, those savings benefit everybody. Next slide, please. As stated earlier, in his evaluation, the police chief achieved a distinguished rating for the 2025 consensus, scoring 47 out of 48 possible points. He has demonstrated exceptional leadership from modernizing our policy systems to leading charitable initiatives like Shop with Public Safety. While the chief has already achieved the standard 5% COLA or cost of living adjustment that all other public employees were provided, this rubric allows him the opportunity for a merit-based raise that reflects his high level of performance. Based on this distinguished rating, the commission recommends a salary adjustment of COLA, which he already has, the 5%, plus 100% of the maximum merit allowed by the town council. Obviously, that number could fluctuate year to year based on budgeting, any other restrictions that you guys have. Furthermore, we recommend that the police chief receive additional benefits pay, as outlined in Section 5 of Ordinance 2025-11C. The Police Commission believes that the police chief is and has been qualified for 2 stipends listed in this section. One stipend is for having the certification of being a police investigator. The other is for PD specialty pay for $250 per year. This allows for a maximum of 2 specialties, which we believe he qualifies for and has since his tenure of being here. Due to the fact that these additional pays have been in place throughout the duration of Chief Bratton's tenure, it is recommended that he is compensated for meeting these qualifications in the form of back pay dating back to 2021 when he began his career here. Thanks, Mr. Williams. Even with the Police Commission's suggested salary adjustments, the chief will still be the lowest paid from our original chart, but his salary would be much more competitive, as represented by the little orange block added onto the red. He would still be the lowest. The town council, people of Fortville, I'd like to thank you for your time today. I believe this evaluation process offers many benefits. It clearly defines objectives for our police chief, provides objective measurement of performance, and allows for database decision-making when considering merit-based salary adjustments. In closing, I'd like to make a request to amend Ordinance 2025-11C retroactive to January 1, 2026. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Anybody have any questions for Nick that you didn't cover in here? Or information that you want to know? That was really good.
So what is the, I guess, total adjustment you're asking for?
Sure. So I was under the assumption that there would be a 7% maximum merit raise.
Okay, so adjust it from 5 to 7, you're saying?
Well, he already has I think there's a total of 12. Is that
12.33, I think is what it was. Yeah. 7.5.
so to capture okay. To capture the balance of the 5% plus whatever is remaining from that 12 or 13%. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not including specialty pay. And the specialty pay, I don't know if that's outlined somewhere in front of you guys, but that's in, like I said, the ordinance 2025-11C. There's 2 sections at the bottom of that. One for police investigator, which is a flat rate of 59 point something maybe dollars per check per pay. I believe that's outlined.
It equals out to like 1,500 a year.
Thank you.
Beth, do we know that exact amount? Do we know what? Wait a minute, I got it. Wait a minute, I should have it right here.
And it was in the budget, you did budget it.
What numbers you looking for again?
These would be at the bottom of section 5. There's several line items. They're the last two. One would say police investigator, and the last one would say PD.
Police investigators, 57.69 per pay,
Thanks, Mr. Renner.
and the other one is $9.62 per pay.
Thank you. Yep.
So what he's saying is he got 5 and there'll be 7.5 additional percent added to come up to the 12.33 or 13% that was approved in the budget. That will change his annual salary to what Nick showed on the slide there.
Yes, that is what I would like to propose, along with, if possible, I mean, those extra additional pays, in my opinion, are for certifications. And it's for a benefit of those people that get extra certification, which benefits the town, which benefits our citizens. And he's been certified and I think has qualified himself since he's been here throughout his tenure.
Was it in the budget? But that's not that much, but it would not be.
Okay, okay. And that was my next question. So you answered that. Okay.
So how much would that be then retroactive?
I don't know if we have
And we might want to go back and look too at past ordinances, because some of those things, we've been adding those in throughout the year, so they haven't been in there all along.
look and see when we started for the specialty pay, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
For these two, yeah. And you probably either got bumped up. And you received these before you were chief, didn't you? Well, if they weren't in there, you wouldn't have. Yeah, we'll have to go back and see what the best.
I know they were in there since 21 through 25's. Well, 25 salary ordinance would be actually for 2026, but so 2020 through 25. They were in there then. I don't know when those got put into place. I was thinking 2018, 2019, but I had never received those.
I thought you were investigator under.
Got paperwork.
Oh,
What's the normal number of pays? It's
26.
26, yeah. We can work on the specialty pay number and figure out the retro stuff. Let's concentrate, I guess, on current here, and then we'll go back and let Joe look up the. Patrick,
I just threw that out there. If you guys want to just use the numbers you got here and multiply that by the years, I mean, I can prepare the ordinance to read however you would like for it to read.
Yeah, so I think that's you're probably for the police investigator, you're looking at about 1,500 per year that was available. And then
So that was in past ordinances, 1,500 a year.
that would be the back pay for it.
And then for the total savings over the last 4 years, how is that calculated? Is that budgeted and he just didn't use it, or okay?
Yes.
Right. So I got those numbers from Beth and Missy through what was appropriated and then what was unspent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that's in our report, but yeah, that's,
It is. It just has the 5 year.
and it stays in the general fund, so that's how it gets put out to other. Which I don't know why it's set up that way. I guess I've always questioned that, but I'm sure that's a government thing, so yeah. Right. Right.
Currently is not for the sidewalks because that comes out of a different
Sorry.
That's okay. I didn't want to make it just.
Sure.
But there's still plenty of things that it's used for as far as that goes. I'm not saying.
Right. Anybody else have comments, questions? The other's about 500. So you're looking at basically 2,000 a year for roughly, not accurately, but roughly. For the specialty pay reimbursement for the years that he was on the ordinance and did not get.
It should equal just under 1,750 a year. $250 for the second one, and the first one's like $14.99
Right.
and some change, because you can't round a half a cent somewhere.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Did you guys do the performance evaluation yourself, or did you hire an outside company to help with that?
Yeah, we did it ourselves. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have that evaluation available?
I don't have it on hand currently, but I do have several copies. Obviously a digital copy.
I was just curious what.
Oh, yeah, sure. It is complete with comments, with validation on each section, each spot. I'd be happy to share that.
Do you guys want to look at you want to vote on it, make a decision here tonight, or what's your?
Do the evaluation, I think.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, just so we can read it.
Mhm. Sure. Sure.
And if you like, I can prepare the ordinance for the first reading at the next meeting. If you want to fill in the numbers or amend it in any way, then
That sounds
we always
good.
have the second reading as well.
That sounds good. You want to just forward the whole rubric to the council, I guess, and let them look at it, how we did the evaluation.
Yeah, sure.
And-
I'll forward to Mr. Williams and
Yeah,
he can
Andy can say,
distribute it.
yeah.
Is that fine
Sure.
with you guys?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. And we'll take a look at it and then hopefully get a confirmation that on the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Next up, we have department reports. Joe, anything?
Turn my mic on here. I will let you know that the two pedestrian lighting along Madison or along Broadway, they got hit about a year ago. They replaced them
I saw
yesterday.
that.
So they're back up. I've still got two of those poles ordered. I looked it up earlier. They've been on order for about 6 months, just so we can have our spares on hand in case something happens there. We had one get hit on Merrill Street. We had a backup pole for that. I'm trying to find a new globe. And we had two more hit in the northwest Fortville subdivision. So I think there's some private individuals getting a little rough with the snow plows.
And have we got those yet, or were they still on order? The ones the extra ones?
No, we're waiting on them.
Yeah. Did they?
NDOT waited almost a year.
Oh my
We're 6 months
gosh,
in.
that's not any better, huh?
No.
Man, that's
And
great.
really, that's all I've got this evening, unless you've got something for me.
Adam is not here. Heath is not here. Patrick, you have anything for us?
No, again, want to thank the Township Fire Department and the Township Trustee's Office for helping us with that. I did talk with, I did a forum today with Farm, just to talk about fraud stuff, online safety, things like that. And we had talked about forming a food drive over Summerfest. And I was going to get with Chief Elder, and I've talked briefly to Flory about it. That's a good time to kind of help out the the mission and get some food. They said they're really in need in the summertime for additional stuff. They said usually the winter and Christmas and holidays, they get a lot and then it kind of dies down. So look for that to come out. I think that's it, unless you have questions of me.
Saw the mini bikes again.
Yeah, we got complaints today about them, yesterday about them. Somebody called them in. I know the guys were out there.
They were on the sidewalks this time too, in and out on the street. I got.
Yeah, we're thinking about this one. Like you know, you don't want to punish a kid for being a kid, but you also
No.
don't want to punish the parents, but you have to enforce the law somehow.
I will say I saw one of those in Indianapolis going down Pendleton Pike with it doesn't have a license plate on it, and it was a grown man on it. Yeah, it was interesting.
I could guess where that one started.
Yeah. Cheap form of transportation. Missy, you have anything for us?
Yeah.
Alex?
I don't have anything unless you have questions for me.
I don't have any. We have any public comment tonight?
Good evening, Bob Sterrett, Motel Drive, Fortville. I just have a few comments. It's mainly about traffic. And I don't think it's anything that a town needs to do or can do, but maybe you could talk to NDOT. The 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign has been down for some time there at Ohio Street. And it seems like it gave everyone permission to do 50 or 60 down there because it's almost gotten out of hand. I see people passing each other. There just, nobody's paying attention to anything. Mornings or evenings. I also wonder, though it's in the plans, you know when the stoplights could be put in at Ohio Street. And the gas station goes in. Is that even on the books yet, or do you have any idea when that might happen?
First question, as far as the speed limit sign, Sergeant Archer was in my office earlier and reporting that again. I'm sorry, Lieutenant Archer, sorry. He was in my office earlier and we were talking about that one and the pedestrian sign that's down on 13. I did go check, that one is back up. And the speed limit sign there at Ohio and Broadway, I reported that right before the meeting, so it's good timing. Right. Yep, we let them know about that. As far as the traffic light there, that's something that the engineer that's working on the gas station site is still working on final plans and has to get it to NDOT, let them review it and approve it. So it's kind of a slow process. And I'll tell you, one of my concerns is I've been trying to get NDOT to work with us. You know, we're working on the South Madison Boulevard. So 13 intersection is going to be all redone. McDonald's going in across street. So they're talking about that being a right in, right out with a median, whatever that design happens to be. The gas station coming in down here, the other traffic light, and then all these properties next door to us between here and 13 are all, you know, purchased by a speculator waiting for development to go in there. So I'm trying to talk NDOT into looking at this whole corridor as one big project and then just let each segment get built out with each development. But
I assume that the only other thing I thought maybe, I don't know, we have the money, or I'm sure the RDC does. I do believe that the signs put up like there in front of car, that's what the speed limit is on, what the speed limit is, lighted, that sure would be nice if we had one in each direction, somewhere between 13 and so, because people just don't pay attention to the speed limit.
I talked about moving it. I think it should be out that way instead of being there.
People are slowing down.
I brought that up at a meeting 6 months ago, I think.
NDOT wasn't interested in moving those because it had to be inside their job parameters, and moving it outside and pushed it outside of their parameters. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't ask for additional signage.
Just one. Unless that wants to park somebody there, I'll be
We've tried to get people, I tell the officers, hey, these are your directed patrols for this week, whatever, go out and hit these areas. They do. 2 minutes later, as soon as they don't see red and blue flashing lights, they're doing the same thing.
No, that's what I said. I think maybe just some flashing at them, they might think we slow down just for a minute. I think it would be helpful. That's all I've got. Unless you have something for me.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else? Mr. Brand? Did the microphone die? Andy's gonna fix it for you before you talk.
He can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Hang on a minute. Let him put some batteries in there. Well, I could hear you. I don't know that anybody online could have heard you, unfortunately. Yeah.
Kill the mic.
I don't know about. Just put like.
Check, 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 check.
Oh, there you go.
Evening. My name's Ed Brand. I'm on the RDC Commission and also on the Police Commission. And I'd like to make a request to the council. I'd like to take these moments to address an important issue concerning the safety of everyone participating in a public meeting, both staff, community, and the community members. In light of the times we live in and the increased need to ensure a safe and secure environment, I believe it is in our best interest to have a police officer present at all public meetings. This presence would not only help maintain order, but also provide reassurance to our citizens and staff, and their well-being is being taken seriously. I've spoken with the police chief about this, and I'm pleased to report that he is fully supportive of the idea and can make arrangements to have an officer present without any issues. This is a small but meaningful step, would demonstrate our commitment to safety, transparency, and respect for everyone who attends these meetings. I urge the council to consider this proposal and move forward with implementing it as a standard practice. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thanks, Ed. That's a great idea.
So Ed and I talked about that. And I agree. You see all these YouTube videos and people throwing shoes and drinks and pepper spray and in some sort of public meeting across the United States and all over the world. But I think it's in the best interest of the town to have an officer staffed at all the meetings. I just had Ed request it through you guys, just as a formal request, just so everyone knows that there's not potential problems coming up in these meetings. We're trying to deter the problems. So when people sees this or sees officers at these meetings, they're not wondering what's going on. So that was for the official request part of it. But I am fully willing and able to staff whatever we need to do.
I agree. Should we make an official motion to approve that as a standard for our meetings then? Do we need to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to staff a police officer at every public meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks. I can definitely see where it's an important feature to have. Any other public comment? Council comments? Libby?
We were talking about the speed limit signs, and we've talked about the crosswalk light that flashes, on Broadway. I was somewhere that had lights that lit up across the street. That little, they flashed and they did a great job. And I didn't know what something like that might, is this an NDOT job or is that? I think as we are growing and cars aren't slowing down, that those signs aren't very visible, as we all know. No, I was in Florida. Bye. Nope, just in Florida. On a very busy street that when you wanted to cross the whole.
Good idea.
The crosswalk lit up. I tried to take a picture. Jeff said it wasn't very good, so I didn't send it to you, Joe.
I've never seen that. I don't know how, imagine it's pretty costly to do something like that. It'd have to be,
I'm guessing something like this probably not NDOT approved.
no, I'm sure.
So, and if you're talking about Broadway, it's something that they would have to.
Yeah.
Probably cheaper to just use reflectors. You could put reflectors across the road. That would be cheaper, I would guess.
Do they light up when you hit the button?
Probably not.
Well, they would just light up all the time to where people
Yeah.
would be cautious all the time through there.
Your own smooth criminal video.
Was it in a town or?
It
On a-
was on a strip between the beach and
Okay.
the hotels and. yeah,
Probably like a private community then.
It was very busy. It's in
Is
Fort
it?
Lauderdale. It
Yeah.
was
Oh.
really busy. Guys
They want to.
drive super fast and loud and.
Hmm.
But those lights light up and every crosswalk down there, you hit that button, people are so good to stop. They stop hard. They will not get in that.
There's probably a lot
You
of
see
people
that in a
walking
lot
there
of
too.
Other states.
Yeah.
People step into the crosswalk and everybody just automatically.
There's a lot of
stops.
respect. Yeah. So I don't know. It should have just been me when I stepped out into the crosswalk. Somebody wanted to gun me down, but
I'm actually guilty of not stopping for a pedestrian. I felt really bad about that because I'm just not used to it being there either.
yeah.
So I drove through it too. I've done it. So I know how hard it is to recognize it. So
Well,
we
It's
can bring
just
that up to NDOT, but I'm
this is
sure.
6 months.
Yeah.
Keep talking about that. That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about.
I don't have anything.
I just wanted to recognize again, the Pink for Haley Month to continue that. Hopefully everybody has had an opportunity to reach out or do something for their family. And I think everybody in the community has done a really good job of doing that. I think, Jason at Kitchen on Main is still have pink bows and, Jennifer probably is resupplied. She ran out of pink ribbon, but I think we'll be able to get some in if anybody wants a bow and, just want to continue that, for the month of February for her and her family. And hopefully they're able to get this law passed. And I did want to bring up too, there's a local resident here that wants to place a bench in front of Kitchen on Main to match our other benches on Main Street in memory of Haley. And I'm working on that with him. I got some pricing and stuff for him, but the question is, they want it to be pink. And I don't know if I don't know if we should or not. So I want to ask you guys. I did talk to the guy at the place that manufactures the bench, and it's possible that we could maybe do the arms in pink, but the rest of the bench is black. And they do have the ability to flush mount a memorial plate on there too. And he was going to check with the family to see what kind of message they wanted to put on it. But I didn't know if you guys had feelings about the pink, so I thought I better ask. I like pink and I'd be okay with it, but I know it doesn't really match the rest of the town. So it's really not my decision to make anyway. So, anybody got a feeling about that?
Feelings, but not about that. I am concerned though, because the way they put their furniture out in the spring and through the fall, it is tight walking through there. So where is this bench planned?
I don't know. They did ask them and they're okay with it being out there. But we haven't really discussed where it's going to sit.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's when they put their sign out and their chairs,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not enough room
Yeah.
for a person to walk.
and it
through,
doesn't
let alone
necessarily
sit
have to
there.
be right in front of there. It could be,
Yeah. So another thought is Landmark Park after it gets done.
Yeah.
I would love to see all
Yeah.
different kinds of seating. A pink
Yeah.
bench would
Yeah.
fit in
Yeah.
fine over there.
And I talked to him about possibly doing, we had talked about doing a monument for local people that wanted to honor a family member that had passed or whatever. They could put a plaque on a monument there. And I think that's something, a good feature we can add to Landmark Park. And Joe is going to talk to them about that, I think. And I mentioned that to him as well. So I don't know where he's going with, he didn't answer. I sent a message to him, but I don't know where they're at with fundraising or any of that. And that's a possibility too. Maybe they want to put it in the park rather than up there. I'm just tossing this out here because they're talking to me about it and I don't want to make any decisions about color. So, yeah. So we can think about that. I think it's just in the beginning stages, but just to let you know, that might be in the pipeline to come down the road. So.
That was something that the town would purchase.
Well, we can, I don't know how we'll handle it. They're the same company that did our benches here and I have Joe had given me the contact there and, I could probably arrange to do it for them if they need to or whatever, but it probably won't go through the town. We'll probably do it separate from that. I don't know how they'll proceed with this. They might have an organization they're going to do it through. I don't know. But it won't be us, so to speak. We're going to install it for them if we do it on Main Street, but so that's just a thought, food for thought. That's all I got.
Yeah, I just want to say keep thoughts, Officer Elliott's family, officer there in Beech Grove. Other than that, since I came in on the tail end of the budget stuff, is there anything against retroactive pay for previous ordinance years and stuff as far as chief's pay or anything? Okay.
Take an amendment of salary.
Okay. And then also, since we're doing chiefs, are there other performance reviews that we do for other town employees then?
Well, I'm working, I just give, thanks to Nick, he put this together with the help of AI and I did the same thing and did a rough draft for town manager and just give it to them to look at. So we're going to try to do the same thing for Joe because he's been asking for that for years and kind of do it hand in hand because him and the chief are pretty much at the same position in the hierarchy of our town. So we're going to work on that too. I just give it to them to hack it all up and see what we can come up with, the starting point for it. So,
Okay.
But yeah.
Just seemed like we were picking on the chief.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, they've been asking for it though. I mean, since I've been on the council, they both have asked for it. So I think it's something we should do just to be responsible to the taxpayers too. They need to know how we're evaluating them. And I don't know that, we don't ever sit down and get to the nitty gritty, but this is how you do it. And it worked really well. I think on the police commission's part, it was a great process and it's very informative too, because Patrick is really good at giving us information and so is Joe. And like Joe give us a year-end report and he does that and then projections for the year. I mean, this is all stuff that is pretty standard, but I think once we set up a format for it, it'll be real easy for us. Otherwise, we're not with them every day. So it's really hard for us and we're the governing body that needs to do that. So this is the best way for us to do that. And then we can reach out if we want to reach out to ask other people, how they're doing that or whatever, then we'll have the opportunity to do that or a guideline to do it with. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I was kind of clueless how you evaluated Joe and especially Andy.
Well, that's why I said it'd be a great idea to do that, but I was so stumped at how you even get it done. I mean, it's difficult when you're not working with them and you're not actually supervising hands-on with them all day long. So this is the best way I know how to do it. And we do one for the chief. His is the same way. It works the same process and it's very specific and to what he does. And I think it works out really well.
Thanks. That's all I had.
Okay. I guess I need a motion to approve and sign vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign vouchers.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:43. And thank you all for coming.
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
They're gonna send it to us, I think.
And email form.